Hello, everybody, and welcome to Soalans Radio Roost. I am just having a ton of technical difficulties. However, I did get some of the music downloaded, so it should be able to work. Now, let's try and start this over. Get back to grief and sorrow, everybody. Taylor Davis. Again, sorry. Okay, everybody, that was Taylor Davis with Grief and Sorrow. As you can see, it doesn't really sound like Grief and Sorrow a lot, does it? Well, anyway, I got a few questions I gotta answer. For example, one of them being, Dear Solan, who would you like to see win the election? Honestly, personally, if it were me, there are a bunch of people I'd like to see win the election, and
we have seen lines that people there's been an election commission, a national election commission about reforming the way we cast our ballots in this country. But the issue is that it's run by the states. It's not a federal issue. So if you could wave a magic wand,
now,
let's have
if it were me,
these are run by states.
I'd love to see. There's a lot of people I'd love to see win the election this year. Hillary Clinton being one of them. I'd also love to see Bernie win the election. Part of me would love to see Rubio win the election. I don't want Cruz or Trump to win the election, but other than that, well, I mean, Trump could win the if Trump. I'd like to see Trump win the election. Each of them win the election in their own right, with for a certain reason. Like, I'd like to see Trump win the election simply because I'd like to see him. I'd just love to see how a legendary businessman does how a legendary businessman okay, yeah, he's a multi-billionaire. Now, I'd love to see how he would screw us over. And then just so I could laugh at it. Now, then there's Ted Cruz, who I wouldn't like to see win the election at all. Ted Cruz and Donald Trump are very ignorant. I would not like to see either one of them win the election. And if they do, and they screw up, I'm gonna criticize them over it. Then there's Rubio, who I would like to see him win the election simply because I think he makes a lot of good points, you know. I think he makes a little bit of a good point about Trump. Although Trump is not a con artist, I think that was a bit of an exaggeration. I won't say he is and I won't say he isn't, simply because I don't know. I really don't know Donald Trump personally, so I wouldn't know if he is or not. I will, however, say that when it comes to Rubio, I think, in my opinion, Rubio should... in fact, I think all of the Republicans should spend more time talking about policy instead of trying to stab each other in the back with a plastic fork, with a file-sized plastic fork. And then, however, on the Democrat side, I'd love to see Hillary win the election, not because she's a woman, in my mind, that has nothing to do with it, but because she has a lot of good ideas. And most of what she says is reasonable. Most of what she says is reasonable and is good. However, what I don't like about her is how she goes from one group of people and she says one thing. She then goes to another group and says the complete opposite.
Really?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Hold on, everybody. While we go into this break, I'm going to go into Nebulous by Taylor Davis. Okay, everybody. Sorry about that. My grandma, she forgot that I was doing. My grandmother forgot that I was doing a radio show. So anyway, moving on. We have one from. If it isn't everyone's favorite mystic, Mystic Mystery has just messaged me. Sent me yet another two questions. Dear Solan, when will my son ever contact me again? I told you once, I told you, and I'll tell you again, Mystic. I can't honestly tell you that because I'm not your son. I am not your son. I hope you can't honestly expect me to answer that, being as I'm not your son. Okay? I am not your son, Mystic. You need to stop asking me questions like that. Next is this